Hey folks, welcome back to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. Today we are doing yet another unboxing for you, but I'm super pumped for this one. This is an expansion to an absolutely classic game that offers some deep strategy, and I'm hoping this is going to be a fantastic addition. I'm talking about mining the planet Arrakis for the spice, because the spice must flow. We are taking a look today at Dune Imperium, the Rise of Ix. Hey folks, welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, and you should by now, my name is Matt, and as I said at the outset, we are taking a look at Dune Imperium Rise of Ix, the expansion for what is one of my favorite deck builder / worker placement games. It has so much deep depth and so much so many options. There's always something to do on your turns, which is fantastic. And there's a real sort of block your opponent mechanic as well, which is really lovely. Before we get into it though, just a quick thing. We have a backlog and a half of stock that is just flooding in at the moment now that shipping containers are actually arriving on shore here in Australia, which is fabulous because it means all the products that have been on back order are now getting out to our customers, which we appreciate. But as a result, there is off camera so much stuff that's come in. Marvel Champions stuff has come in, new deluxe expansions for Marvel Champions has arrived, D&D, Alien RPG stuff, which you saw in a previous video. But when this arrived on the doorstep in its beautiful box along with a special promo card, I went, you know what, this can afford to jump the gun. Let's jump down to the table and take a look, because I really can't wait any longer. And there she is. Now, I will point out too, we actually had a bit of a mishap. Our logistics partner, who gets all of our stock in from Sydney, was a bit rough and heavy-handed. So unfortunately, this particular copy has this really nasty little break in the front cover, but the rest of the stock that we have here, I've checked, hand-checked personally. It is all good, but we're not here to talk about that. We are here to talk about the expansion. Now, the plastic, I've already perforated this one. As we all know, plastic, of course, goes 1, 2, 3 all together on the floor. So we're going to rip that off there. Now, I am just pumped. This is going to give us, it doesn't actually add an additional player to the game. It is still in the 1 to 4 player count. But there's new factions, new heroes, new leaders, which is brilliant. I'm going to have to get some tape and press that back out. This also came with a special promo card, which I'll show you now. This is Boundless Ambition, and you've got the Baron there. And it is also, incidentally, coinciding, the date of recording here coincides with the release of the movie here in Australia, December 2nd. If you're our Patreons, you will see it on December 2nd, this video. If you are not, you'll be watching this when it goes up next week. So you can see here you get to activate your sigil ring if you play this card. Otherwise, you can acquire a card that costs 5 or less. That, I think, is a new symbol as well. That's a discard, that's something else, who knows, we'll have to have a look. And of course you can travel to any of those factions. So that's the promo card. If you are lucky enough to have ordered one of our copies in our first shipment, you will be receiving one of those promo cards. Now, this is something that I really loved about the original game too. The rulebook artwork is the full size of the box, and just look at it. It just looks so cool. Deep artwork. It looks fantastic. There is a watch it played on how to do this, expanding the Imperium. I believe there's new boards and things in here for the Ix faction, which is all technomancy and stuff like that, which is very cool for those of you that are familiar with the Dune universe. And I do love the fact, because they've got so much real estate for the rules, they're really clear and easy to read. Additional rules for 2-player games, and of course epic game mode as well. You can go to 12 VP instead of just 10. Clarifications, new items, etc., how it all works. I'm digging it. It's very cool and involved. And again, Direwolf have been fantastic and allowed for extra baggies to store everything, which is brilliant. We've got cards. Ooh, the compartmentalization is not great, but that's okay. I will say all of this stuff is probably going to fit in the base game box. So this box is probably going to find its way into the recycle bin, which I'm kind of digging because they left room for more cards and things. If you watch the unboxing of that one, you better check it out. Let's have a look at some extra boards. Now, this is an overlay. The Landsraad Council, that's pretty much identical to the one that's in the base game, except that now you've got this space here, which I think this is a different symbol altogether on here, once per game, and you can put someone on a council seat. No, that's the same, it's just different symbology. And then you've got the new comb board. Ooh, it looks like you can actually get help from their faction rather than do your smuggling and things as well. Interstellar shipping, which is very cool. I like that. There's nothing on the back of that one, but that's okay. Then we have got, whoops, chucking stuff away. Shouldn't really be doing that, should I? Okay, then we've got the new Ix board here, and this is specifically for Ix. Now, it's called Ix, even though it's based on the Roman numeral for 9. It's the 9th planet in that system. Now, this is, look, we've got some tech negotiation spaces, more spaces for the green spaces on the cards too, because usually it's just Landsraad, but now you can use the Ix board as well. That's going to add another element of strategy, which I'm digging. You've also got tech tiles and tokens as well. So these are Ix tiles here with technological upgrades. And then it looks like a key maybe. Some sort of key symbol here. Maybe it's a key or something. Whatever it is, it will come up on screen once I know what it is. And then we've got here these different tiles. And the chipboard on these is nice. Nice, and it's thin, but it makes a good noise. And different tiles are going to offer you different abilities. So this is assuming 4 spice. You'll get 2 cards, and at the end game, you will win tiebreakers. So these will obviously be kept secret, similar to your intrigue cards from the base game. And then you've got here, when you win a conflict, you gain water. So this is going to offer you extra abilities. So every reveal turn, when you reveal your cards and use like your full deck building turn, you get an extra influence point. When you flip a tile, you get to gain an extra troop. Ooh, reveal turn. If you have a seat at the High Council, gain 4 combat. Wow, okay, so there's quite a bit of technological wizardry there that's going to allow for a bit of crazy, which I like. I like that. Looks like we've got more intrigue and combat cards as well. Plastic, of course, for this one will go on the floor. So we've got intrigue. Oh, and we've got new conflict cards as well, just to change it up. And I like that we've got 3, a 2, and a couple of 1s as well. So they may be required or just shuffled in for another randomization to your game. So for intrigue, we've got quid pro quo, gain 1 influence with each faction if you pay 2 spice that has at least one of your agents on its board spaces. That's cool. Lose a troop. Strategic push. Cannon turrets. Now I'm shooting in high def, so you can just pause the tape. Now these are dreadnoughts. These are new ships. So you spend 3 and or move your dreadnought if you want to. I'm not entirely sure if they work, but having a dreadnought on the board's kind of cool. You can cull off one to cull something from your deck. Influence up or down, or combat for plot, because the plotting phase takes place during your main turn, and then you've got endgame and combat. Machine culture, so if you have 3 or more tech tiles, gain a victory point at game end. Plotting, glimpse the path. Grand conspiracy, 2 dreadnoughts, 1 the spice must flow, 4 influence on the influence on 2 tracks, and a seat on the How Cancel. If you have any 3, gain 1. If you have all 4, gain 2 victory points. War chest, pay 2 Solari to gain 4 combat. If you have 10 or more Solari at the end of the game, gain a victory point. Second wave. Blackmail, lose some influence in one of your faction tracks and gain 5 combat. That is fantastic. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Conflict. We've got this one, rewards. This must be something to do with the dreadnoughts, maybe. More dreadnoughts, more dreadnoughts. Oh my goodness. You get 1 point, 1 victory point for winning economic supremacy. But if you have 6 Solari and 4 spice, you can get up to 3 on the 1 card. That is a game changer. Tide changing. I love it. My goodness. All right, let's rip into this one here. I'm going to have to grab my trusty knife for this one because the tab on it looks like it's broken off. I just, like, forget picking up Charlotte from school. I just want to play this solo again with all the new bits and pieces. It's just such a great game. And if you haven't played Dune, Dune Imperium, the base game, I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Not just for those who love deck builders like my good self, but also for people who like deep games with lots of strategy. It is fantastic. Now, there is some Hagal cards here for the 2-player and single-player game. And they obviously tell the AI what to do, 1-player mode, tech negotiation, dreadnoughts, etc. If this rival already has 2 dreadnoughts, reveal another card. Some smuggling operations, folding space influences, interstellar shipping. That just basically messes, or the rival messes with you, and it stops you from being able to go to those places as well on the board. And we have the base deck here. Now these will allow for extra cards you can purchase from the market. Bounty Hunter. Okay, and this one allows you to go to the blue space. And I think they've changed a little bit of the artwork here. Water Peddler, Comb Delegate, Yamis or Jamis, forgive me if I pronounce things wrong, a Freighter Fleet. Now we saw that artwork on the rule book. Freighter Fleet. In the Shadows, the Ben Gesserit, Court Intrigue, Ix Guild Compact, Desert Ambush, Local Fence, oh, Spice to Solari or Solari to Spice, Imperial Shock Trooper, Saidina, Bene Gesserit and the Fremen, 3 water for 1 victory point. You can spend that as an agent card. That's cool. Weirding Way, Truthsayer, Negotiated Withdrawal, Spice Trader, Imperial Bazaar, the Guild Chief Administrator. My goodness. Lots of crazy stuff there. Web of Power from the Bene Gesserit influence. Landing Rights with the Spacing Guild. Appropriate Emperor. If you have 2 influence with the Emperor, you can gain a tech card or a tech tile. You may use Solari instead of Spice for that purchase. Embedded Agent. Esmar Tuek from the Spacing Guild. Satellite Band, Spacing Guild and the Fremen. Not sure what that means. I'll have to have a look and see. I think it's a new symbol for the expansion. Ixian Engineer, Treachery. Gain 2 influence instead of 1, then trash this card. Wow. Guild Accord. Shai Hulud, Fremen. Discard a card to gain 2 troops, and then you got a Fremen bond, which will give you 5 combat. And you get to discard a card when you acquire it. Gain a Dreadnought with a full-scale assault, so you should. Control the Spice. Wow. Serious business. 1 Spice allows you to discard a card and gain a troop, but it will give you 1 influence and 1 Spice when you play. Oh, it's a starting card. That little symbol, the little symbol next there is the starting card. That's cool. Cool. All right, we've got some tokens. It looks like we've got more. Well, first of all, let's get rid of the silica gel. We don't need that. Not very good to eat. So these are more tokens for the Ix board, potentially. They're little markers that you use for the different players in the game, which is cool. And then I wonder, I'm not entirely sure whether they're just to mark off things that you've got on different boards, etc., because you've already got your agents. And then here, this is the cool part. We've got more silica gel, which we get rid of, but we've got these beautiful little dreadnought markers. So these are sort of reminiscent of the agents. They do stand up, I would imagine, but these ones here are in different faction colors, but they're actually dreadnought ships, and for each dreadnought, I'm not entirely sure how they work. I haven't read the rule book. I'm seeing this for the first time, but it looks like that's going to give you, if you purchase dreadnoughts, you can have additional agents to use, which means you can do more stuff, but potentially waste more cards, which means your reveal turn may not be as powerful. But if you play your cards right, no pun intended, you'll have a little bit more chaos to do. I like it a lot. I'm going to put these back in here. Let's have a look at the new folks that are going to be able to be chosen when you play Dune Imperium Rise of Ix. Now, we've got here a turn order, I think, for each one. New rules for rivals. Yes. So let's have a look at those first. Now, these are all on the back of the cards as well, so they've just got a couple of extras in there, which I kind of dig. And you've got here, does it talk about the different symbols? No. Solo games, tech sides, rules for the rivals, take an agent turn. Now, this is a standard game. No, nothing in there. That's fine. They're all the same. So on the reverse of the players, they've got those turn order markers. Then you've got Prince Romba Vernius, or Vernius, from the House Vernius. Heavy lasgun cannons. Your dreadnoughts have 4 strength instead of 3 as a basic rule. Kind of powerful. I like the fact this guy's got half his face, very much a two-face style. Ixian technology, you get to get a tile, or you can lose an influence or gain an influence. I'm not entirely sure what that means. Tessia Vernius. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on here. 4 notches means that she's quite difficult to use. She's a little bit tricky to get all the engine stuff happening. Gain the bonus from this token's influence deck. Gain 1 token, careful. Put the snooper token at 2 influence on each influence track. Whenever you reach a snooper token, move it to the topmost uncovered space above and take that reward. Wow. Gain 1 influence with a faction where you have a snooper token. Archduke Armand Ikaz. You may acquire a card that costs 3 or less from the display when you use your rigging ability. If you have at least 2 agents on these board spaces, you may trash one of your cards in play. Elisa Ikaz for House of Cats. Guild Contacts. 1 Solari for a fold space card. That's cheap. I like that. The start of your second turn in a round, reveal that card and return it to your hand. If you use it to send an agent, there's one spice, otherwise 1 Solari. Viscount Hundro Mortiani of House Mortiani. At the start of the game, look at the top 2 cards of the Intrigue deck, keep 1 and put the other one back on top. Knowledge is power after all. 1 spice for a dreadnought action? Maybe, I'm not sure. Princess Una Mauritani, House Mauritani. Start the game with no water. Whenever you gain Solari on your turn, increase the amount gained by 1. Final delivery, spend 7 Solari to gain 1 influence, 1 troop, and a spice. Influence in the track of your choice. That's crazy talk. Wow. All right, that's all the contents in the box. There is plenty of content in that one little box. I would have loved a 5th player, but I just don't know how that would work with the conflict spaces on the board and everything else as well. It would be a little bit tricky, but I'm digging it anyway. I am digging the fact, as I said, that most of it will fit in the box for the base game, which is very cool. And then, of course, you've got this extra bonus card and the stunning rulebook as well. We're going to come back out and I'll tell you what I think with some final thoughts, folks. And there it is, folks, the contents of Dune Imperium Rise of X, the long-awaited expansion to what has been a fantastic gaming experience. I expect nothing less from Paul Dennen and the team at Direwolf. They're responsible for things like Clank, obviously the base game of Dune Imperium, and so many other wonderful things. So production quality is fantastic. It is pretty much dime for dime. A couple of the symbols on the cards are slightly different. I don't know whether they've done that so you can separate out the cards from the expansion versus the cards from the base game. I'm assuming that's what it is. They just look at agent spaces, things like that. Some of them have it, some of them don't. Maybe there's something else I'm missing that I haven't read in the rulebook, but obviously we will find that out. Have you played the Rise of X expansion for Dune Imperium? What are your thoughts? Do you have any favorite in terms of favorite characters that you can play as? Any favorite strategies you'd like to employ? As I said, if you haven't experienced Dune Imperium, what are you doing? Stop watching, go get a copy. It's amazing. Otherwise, you can watch my solo playthrough here on GameLINK. And of course, we've got our unboxing as well for you to check out as well. Dune Imperium Rise of X looks like it's going to be fantastic. I will give it a review once I've had a chance to get it to the table. Hopefully, over the Christmas period, we will see how we go. Until then, folks, if you are new to the channel, by all means, please smash that subscribe button so you get notified whenever we post something new. And it's a small action from you, but we really appreciate it. So by all means, please jump on board, help us get that magic 200. We will see you back for some more content. Marvel Champions is on its way. We've got reviews coming through from all sorts of crazy content, some villainous stuff as well, I'm very excited to say. And we'll see you back at the table very soon. Till then, be good to each other, play heaps of games. See you very soon. It is bye for now.